Yeah, man. It's been a while since we spoke, man.
Yeah.
Very happy for you, bro. Just seeing that you're getting your notoriety, and you know, when you heard all this good stuff when it come down to Golden Boy and Oscar De La Hoya talking about you as an individual, a boxer, Hopkins. How did that feel?
It feels great, man, because, really starting out my career, I didn't, really get the recognition I feel like I deserve, right? But I always feel like it's in due time, if I just keep doing my part, it'll all come. It's not something I'm like, I like yearn for, but it always is so dope to hear legends in the sport, really get to say things like that about you, right? Their opinion matters, right? They have to have credibility in everything that they say. Um, and so for them to say that, like, yeah, no, it definitely means a lot.
So, man, yeah, you're 8-0, 8 knockouts. This weekend you fought on the Zordo Ramirez and Joe Smith card. You scored a first round knockout. How did it feel? In that environment and just getting the praises off of just that performance. And how do you grade your performance? Obviously, it was a short one, but how
Right,
do you
right,
grade it?
right. So, first question, as far as the environment went, it's in Vegas. My first time fighting in Vegas was an amazing experience because, like I said at the press, like that's something you always dream about, finally fighting in Vegas. Even to the casual people, even people who aren't boxing fans, right? Oh my God, you're fighting in Vegas! Like it's always amplified. It's a much bigger extent than maybe what it really is. And so, just kind of being there from the first experience, uh, with my team. So brought my whole family with me. It was kind of last second. I just fought like 3 weeks, 2 weeks prior, uh, out in LA. And so it's kind of last second notice for me as well. But my family was still able to push and pull to get out there. Bro, you should have heard it, man. The energy was crazy, dog.
I heard it. I watched the fight and
Man,
I'm like, damn, there's mad fans for you.
man, they went crazy, dog. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So that DFG chant, man, I'm telling you, it's a movement, bro. And just trying to get a lot of people on board with the DFG movement. It just take a little bit of time, getting the ball rolling. But oh, it was dope, bro. Especially for it to be kind of so last second. So the energy was amazing. I loved it. And then as far as how the fight went, how I graded my performance, hard to grade it. I'm pretty, you even heard on the zone. Even Sergio was like, I don't really know what to say. Like usually be able to critique, but it didn't last long enough to really um to critique it. But I'm always gonna be my biggest critic. And so going to the fight, I was really just establishing my jab. I felt like my jab wouldn't couldn't miss. Um so boom, I was popping the jab. I wanted to start throwing more with the right hand. But I was like, man, this jab's not missing. And I remember in the fight, like I seen his face was already starting to mark up off of just the jab alone. And so then I wanted to start touching to the body early. And then the shot that dropped him, I say it surprised me, right? I land that shot a lot, and like how it feels in my hands, I'm like, damn, like I really feel it like digging into his body. But I hit people with shots like that often, but they don't normally fall, right? But when I seen it in slow motion, it really was a placement of it, right? Right under the titty, man, right on the right side where his liver's at. So it was a good shot. And as soon as he fell down, I knew it was over. So uh, to answer your question, hard to really rate the performance, but ultimately I'm definitely happy and satisfied with it.
So, is this new that you're like in Zordo's camp, or this was always something that you guys were already working with?
No, no. So I'm trying to see when about started. About started really about a year ago now. I was out with Zerto in prep for him fighting Bivol. I didn't go out to LA with him, but I went out to Dubai with him when or Dubai and Abu Dhabi when he went out and fought Bivol. So around that time, I got really close to him, spent a lot of time with him. And then really ever since then, we've built a relationship, and that's my team now.
Yep.
Great, solid people, man. Like, they really, really. elevated and got my career, I can say, right back on track. Now they tell me I fought 5 times this year, going for 6. And you hear that and like, oh, that's pretty normal, 5 times a year. No, 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 no. That's 5 times, about gonna be 6 times a year, and that was starting from middle of the year. That was like April 29th is when I had my first fight back this year. So the pace has been we've been moving, honestly. So I'm
Nice.
sure blessed for that. All I can really ask for is activity, just get an opportunity to keep showcasing myself on a regular basis. And only thing the indie fighter can ask for.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I remember first talking to you. I think you only had 3 fights.
Yeah, 3. Yep.
Definitely like pushing real
So
quick.
so that's when I started working with them and on fight number 4, and like I said, it had me moving.
Um, so when it comes down to who you're signed to, are you signed to Golden Boy? Are you signed to the Zone? Neither. Who are you signed to?
Yeah, I know. I'm signed with Golden Boy now officially.
Nice, nice, nice. So, how's that been treating you?
Oh man, like I said, blessing, bro. Like, and I say this because I've been active. It's the only thing that is my main priority. And across whatever promotion company that I was talking to, that's the goal,
Mm.
is make sure that the activity was secure. And Golden Boy's doing a phenomenal job doing that. Starting to do a phenomenal job, even promoting me and giving me the opportunities that I need. So I'm happy exactly where I'm at.
In the same time, in the comments, people were asking, "What is a DNG?" And I'm assuming it's your own promotional company that you are trying to build, or
Uh,
is it just a movement?
so no, DFG is just that's kind of what I'm going over for my fighter name, my nickname, right?
Hmm.
But DFG stands for Destined for Greatness. Um, it's a it's something that I came up with. It's something that I kind of embody. But the whole embodiment of Destined for Greatness is really just about belief in yourself, and something throughout my starting from my amateur career, really through my whole life, right? That was something I had to learn. And, body that heavily really just belief in myself. And so I really can't be great without that. In any aspect of life, not just boxing. Um, and so now I had the belief in myself, but now I'm trying to spread it where other people have belief in me as well too. And it really spread awareness that like I said, the belief in yourself is crucial in any avenue that people are trying to get in, right? I think about this all the time. You probably can understand this too. Like, I'm gonna relate this to just boxing, but you that confident fighter is a dangerous fighter. I express how true that statement is, right? And so my whole goal going out to every fight is I have to strip away my opponent's confidence, like little by little, right? And it always starts in the first round, being right in their face, and I'm slowly like inching. They can't hit me, touch. Now they're down. Like, damn, I can't hit themselves. He get doubts creeping in. They stop believing in themselves. Now they're questioning their ability. Now they're questioning, oh, dang, if I do this? Okay, well, he's too fast. If I do this, I'm gonna get hit with this. Now they're hesitating. And it's,
Hell yeah! I remember my first loss, man. My first loss. That's exactly how I felt. I'm like, he's catching everything that I'm
yeah,
throwing at.
and it happens, bro. And it's inevitable too, where eventually you strip somebody's confidence so bad they no longer believe in themselves.
Hmm.
No longer believe in themselves, they're done as a fighter. And then
Hmm.
you can see it happen on the opposite end, right? You can see somebody maybe they're a little timid at first. They're already doubting themselves going into the fight,
Yeah.
and then boom, they land some good shots, and they're like, "Oh, wait, wait, hold on, I can't. He's not as fast as I thought. He's not as strong as I thought. I can't hit him right now. They're like momentum is rising, right?
Facts.
And anytime I'm in the ring and somebody starts to build confidence, you have to shut it down quickly, bro, because just a snowball effect. Once it starts building in basketball, when a team's going on a run, they score 10 unanswered points. What they do? They gotta call timeout. Like, wait a minute. They gotta keep the momentum because
Hmm.
they're gonna run with it, and they're hard to stop once they got it.
Yeah, that's exactly what Terrence Crawford did with Spence. You know, he did not let him catch no rhythm whatsoever.
No, you can't, bro. Once you let somebody catch a rhythm, man, it's hard to stop it. And then now you're fighting a losing battle, right? So when
Hmm.
it starts happening, you got to shut it down quickly, you know. So I say that all to go back to the DFG, right? Like the belief in yourself is extremely important when you talk about being great. Um, but not only that, it also embodies the work ethic that comes along with it, right? That's for greatness, not just oh, I'm destined for greatness. Like no matter what I do, I'm gonna just be great. No, 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 no. A lot of work, a lot of sacrifices go into that too, as well. So, um,
I was having a big conversation with some of these other coaches, and it's like, destined to be great and being special are completely two different things. And to be great, you have to have that certain work ethic. You got to wake up in the morning, even if you got all these shiny belts, you got to make sure you find that hunger to continue to want to keep being great. Um, but being special and great are two completely different things, and you can't just throw that word special out there that easy.
man, little being special, I mean, that's just like we talking about somebody who's just pure talented. They just got like just raw talent, but no work ethic behind it. That's only gonna get you so far.
Exactly.
Only
Exactly.
gonna get you so far. I mean, you see it all the time. I've seen so many people like that growing up with. I'm like, oh, this dude is just crazy talented. But you can see they're working out like they're not really. They're kind of going through the motions, or they're showing up late, or they're missing sessions. You know,
It's what turns a coach off, you know?
that's my big thing is always be the most coach guy, one of the hardest workers in the room. You know, um, one that listens and one that really even on their own, right? Like boxing doesn't end at the gym.
No,
A lot of stuff goes on at the house. It's a 24/7 job for real, for real.
exactly. Everything that you put into your system, there's nothing really nothing like it. And if you don't have the right resources, you have to be disciplined upon yourself to be
Right,
able to make everything happen.
right. But it's funny about boxers though, man. This is something I realized, like how can I word it? Sometimes people don't really have like their own mind. Um, and so when you talk about the IQ of the sport, man, having a high IQ, I can't express to me like how obviously important that is, but people take that for granted, man. Like like people really, they've been doing boxing since they were a little kid or something. And they're now just stuck going through the motions, doing the same thing every day, and they do not understand why they're doing it. What's really elevated my game is starting to understand the whys, right? And what helped me doing that was when I started at one point was kind of just helping coaching people on the side or whatever just for fun. Kind of kept me busy doing some stuff and when I started breaking stuff down to them, I was like, "Oh, that's why I do that." Had no idea. I just did it because it worked. But then once I started understanding the whys behind it, why does this work? Okay, if I'm doing this move, right? If
Hmm.
I'm doing this move, what am I putting myself at risk for? Okay, if I'm putting myself at risk for that, okay, if they do throw that, then what am I gonna do?
Right.
Now I got a contingency for that. So if
Hmm.
I'm doing this and they do that, now I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. That's when they were talking about boxing's chess. It really is like thinking really moves ahead or already having them programmed in your body to do it. And but just understanding the whys of on boxing has really elevated my game a lot. But I've noticed just from a lot of people they're just reaction based. Right? When you can think like that, now everything you're doing has a purpose. You're
Hmm.
not doing stuff to set things up rather than just allowing uh the other person to do things and you're just reactive towards it. Now you're being proactive with every move that you make.
Yep.
I know.
100%.
I know I went on a little tangent or whatever, but I don't even remember how that came up.
It's good. At the end of the day, I post the content, and people can appreciate a boxer's eye when it comes to this. Now, when I spoke to you, I mean, like I told you, it was like your third fight. Now, getting the signage to Golden Boy and all that, like, how did that come upon?
Oh well, so I mean, it's been a little time in the making. I fought on a couple of their cards and stuff like that, and um, we started building a relationship. And now all the cards I fought on, they've all been stoppages. I've done my part, what I was supposed to do,
Hmm.
and so then it's just about like, okay, is this something that we see working in the long term? Feel like yes, and so now it's time to really make a formal agreement and really set the stage to really elevate my career.
Now, I'm over here watching the card, and I'm watching it with my girlfriend, and I see you, and they say you a nurse on top of it. So I'm like, man, got brains. And I told my girl that at this point in time in a guy's career, they're not making a lot of money.
Mm.
So he's really double backing on that. Um, how is that balancing that job with this job?
Well, so to emphasize on that, as of right now, I'm not working as a nurse. I am full in on boxing right now, and luckily, I've been blessed to have the financial. I don't even say financial stability because you're right. It's definitely rough in the beginning parts of your career, right? Especially when I was at a time when I wasn't fighting at all, and so um, I was doing like little weird things because I knew if I was to go into nursing, go back, which I easily could have, right? And it would have making a good money. I would have got way too comfortable. And
Mm,
um so to backtrack, I graduated 2019 and at May 2019, December 2019 I won the Olympic trials. And so 2020 I was on Team USA. So at this part in time I wasn't working because I was traveling back and forth from here to Colorado and training camp, leave there, go to Bulgaria, Spain, competing or whatnot. Um, and so I didn't have time to work. Right, COVID pandemic hit, and now we were stuck waiting another year for the Olympics. And at that point, now mind you, a lot of my friends were working doing travel nursing. They were making crazy bread.
yeah.
I'm talking about crazy money. Right, and this is when I knew how much I love boxing because I'm talking they're making like six figures in a couple months. You know,
Mm.
and I could
Speak
easily.
upon some of those friends too, and like as far as like who you grew up with in the amateurs and your background as well, because there's a whole bunch of people that want to get to know exactly who you are. They got to see a little clip of what you did this weekend, but this is a special part of the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, man. But look, it's man, but just life, life's life's crazy, man. And but that's how I knew I love boxing, bro. Was I could easily want to chase the for sure easy. That's a easy money, right? Because they're working for it. But I could easily went and made a bag real quick. But uh, boxing is passion, bro. And so I knew if I was to go back into nursing, um, that like I said, I would have got too comfortable, and then I would have been living life doing that. So I kind of had to stay hungry for a little while, and kind of really grind it out. Which, again, I will tell you, was not easy.
Right.
Was not easy with just how my hiccups going into the pro game was, and but we're in a good spot now. We made it work, and like I said, I'm now like I said on the fast track, really to climb up these rankings quick, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Seems like that's what Oscar's really trying to push for. You know what I'm saying? Make some great fights happen. Um, and that being said, like you really believe that the fast track is where you're headed. What's next year looking like? What's this 2024 looking like for you?
I'm hoping by 2024 that but at least by the end of 2024, maybe I can be in or early 2025. Maybe I can be in a position for an eliminator. I know that sounds very fast, but as far as the activity goes, I want to kind of be in that position by then.
So now that you spoke upon that, talk about people in your amateur accolades. Because when people hear these type of things, they're like, "Wait a minute, he's only 8-0. I mean, he only has 8 fights. I mean, what's his backstory?" So tell people.
Well, yeah, as far as amateurs go, man, like I was, I've been boxing this year too long. Started 2015. and I was really on the fast track then because I was 18, 19 years old when I started. And so I had tried to accumulate like a lot of fights as most as I could. At the same time, while I was trying to balance nursing school too, which was I missed a lot of opportunities because of that. Like I couldn't most of the major tournaments, I couldn't leave school for a whole week, to go to these tournaments. So I had to sacrifice that. But I had about 60 fights.
Mm,
And to understand that now, I'm going down to super middleweight, but a lot of those major fights I was fighting at heavyweight.
I remember
Um, I was fighting at 201, but I won National Golden Gloves 2018 at 201. That wasn't my weight class. I was walking around like 180 something. So I went up in weight, fought there and won. And then 2019 Olympic trials, I won that at 201 also. Um, then again, went overseas, was trying to get ready for the Olympics and stuff, but COVID kind of derailed that a lot. And
Bulgaria.
um,
In Bulgaria.
no, I was saying that COVID just messed up just the Olympics a lot. But
Yeah, facts.
Bulgaria was a dope experience though. We got to compete internationally as well too. So
You
I had a lot of experience, and I spent a lot of time with a lot of my Olympic teammates too, training with them. We had a lot of camps, getting a lot of different sparring, a lot of different looks with a lot of different people. Um, so I do have the background to be on the fast track. And again, my whole thing is I believe myself. I know how talented I am. Um, and I know even looking at the top guys, the one thing I say I lack is the pro experience, is the rounds, right? That is the one thing that I lack, and I'm mindful of that. Um, the farthest I've won in a fight has been 6 rounds. Um, but all my fights have been stoppages. So I don't want to be the Berlanga guy, right? Berlanga all first round knockouts and believing in the hype of his
good
power.
comparison. Good comparison.
Um, and I'm extremely, extremely mindful of that. I'm real big on not believing in my own hype either. Right? I believe myself, not in my own hype. Right?
Smart.
And they talk about on the broadcast, and I told them even in the fighter meeting, like I don't believe I have like Deontay Wilder power. All my fights have been stoppages, but I don't believe myself to have like devastating power like. But I do know my style is to break guys down.
Hmm.
So I know even in the longer fights, that's where I thrive in. That's even in the amateurs. Like I didn't have an amateur style. I wasn't a 3 round guy.
Yeah.
I was never a 3 round guy. I always started off like extremely slow in the first round, and then I'm really good at adapting and figuring people out. 3 rounds wasn't really enough for me to do that. So I know I'm more meant for 12 round fights. Um, so I'm ready for the. I need to be careful with my words. I mean, I'm not in a position to call anybody out, right? I haven't done anything in the sport of boxing, right, to be able to say, oh, I want to fight such and such. Not in the position to do that right now. I gotta take my steps properly before I'm in a position to do that. But I know like a lot of the top guys I can beat.
Absolutely. I feel like if you went in there with Joe Smith, I think you would have been able to get the job done as well. I mean, he looked really bad in there. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the layoff kind of did a lot for him. Zordo boxed tremendously. I mean,
Mm.
I'm very happy to see him. I know he had a fight geared up with Gabe Rosado. Didn't make the weight. I know he has a lot of things outside of boxing that he was dealing with. So to come back and to score that. Now, how was that training camp, and how did that like? What did that do for you as far as being? I'm pretty sure you was one of his main sparring partners.
No, not for this fight. I could have went out there, but my big thing is, especially when it comes to me, um, is when I have a fight coming up. I don't like to be in anybody else's training camps. Um,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I stayed home. I stayed in Houston for this training camp. I have like a weird thing. Like I don't like being in other people's things, because then I'm like on other people's time, and a lot of the resources that I'm familiar with that I train with is out here. My coach, I don't think would have been able to be out there for that long. So it's like a lot of different factors, right? But
Makes sense.
yeah, so I decided to stay here.
Speak upon the Houston. I mean, now when it comes down to Texas, it's been pretty popping lately. You know what I'm saying? As far as fighters are concerned, we got Jay Prince there. Shakur over there. Um, Talk a little bit about just getting that work in Texas alone.
Well, real quick before we go to that, I'm gonna talk about the fighting scene in Texas, man. It seemed like Texas is really picking up on fights, bro, which has surprised me. There's been a lot more fights in Texas lately from other promoters. Golden Boy was one of the main ones that had fights in Texas, but I seen some of the other promoters, Top Rank, is now having a second card in Texas. They had one in Corpus not that long ago. They actually having one out here in Houston this weekend. Um, then Matchroom will have a couple every now and then out here. Golden Boy has some out here, which we've heard rumors that there's another one that may be coming to Houston pretty soon. So I'm extremely excited about that per se, right? Because more fights that start to happen here, more fights, more cars that I'm able to get on out here, and really attract a lot of the fan base that I have in Texas, right?
Facts.
Rather than most of them being in Vegas, LA, or Cali, New York, So I'm hoping Texas really starts being another hub for big boxing fights because it's
Save
been a
money
while.
in the taxes.
It's huh?
Save money in the taxes.
Oh, what man? Forget taking 7% out of my check for these taxes. Yeah.
Mm,
So I'm hoping Texas becomes another hub for big mega fights, man, because it's been a while since some big fights have really been here.
yeah, absolutely. So, talk to me about some of the notable names that you've been able to share the ring with in sparring to elevate your game and to prep your mind, saying, "Hey, Darius is definitely in the top level, and if not, I'm definitely getting there."
Okay, so some of the notable names that you know. So obviously, I start from start to finish. A lot of the guys that I've worked with a lot was a lot of people on Team USA with me. Um, Worked with almost every single one of those guys, and I spent a lot of time with them. They've helped my career out a lot because you got to think when we're on Team USA, it's kind of like a big melting pot. People from everywhere. You got people from Ohio, people from New York, people from California, from Michigan, from Virginia. Everybody's spread out. And so it was a good melting pot where people got to really learn something from one another. Um, so some other people I sparred with, one of my favorite guys that I sparred was actually Jared Anderson.
Mm,
Extremely talented man. He is to me probably the best heavyweight in boxing. I don't really. He gets a lot of hate for some reason. I don't know why, but I don't see anybody beating him by decision.
mm,
Um, the dude is talented like that. Uh, so I spar with him. Obviously, I spar with Zerto. Zerto, somebody else I spar with out in camp. When I was out in LA, I also spar with Gojdik. Um, Gojdik, he's making his comeback now too. Uh, he's now had a couple fights since his loss to Better Beef. Um, I spar with. I was in camp in Vegas with Uzgataki.
mm.
Um, Shoot, I just seen somebody talking about Big Bang. I've also sparred with Joe Joyce. We moved around a little bit, but
all,
those just
all the
those,
heavyweights.
yeah, most of the heavyweights, man. I For some reason I don't know how. When I was fighting the amateurs, they would see that I was a heavyweight and they just assumed I was big. So a lot of work I got was with heavyweight.
Yeah, and now you're campaigning at light heavyweight.
Yeah, well, technically light heavyweight now. The goals go down to super middleweight though at 168.
Nice.
168 is a way better division for me as far as names goes. A lot more names in the division.
Yeah.
Um, a lot more popular division when you think about it. Oh, that's where it's at, bro. And I'm really trying to make a legacy in this sport. Super
That
middleweight is
that's
where to do it.
exciting. That's exciting to hear. That down the line you'll be a super middleweight because it's always been a popular division. Right now, it's superly popular. I mean, do you feel like I feel like some of these guys know that, hey, you used to, as an amateur, you was a heavyweight, you're campaigning light heavy, and like they just automatically assume not just off of the size, but you could take what they give out. But then also looking at your style, you could see that you're going to be more of the faster type of a heavyweight or faster
Mm.
light heavyweight. Now, when do you get like super middleweight sparring to prepare you for your goals down the line? I think
I
that's really important.
Yeah. Wait. So your question is, do I get what super middleweight sparring?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it. I really don't. Really, I really
Mhm.
don't. Only I mean super middleweight I sparred was Uzgataki. He was only
Uzateki,
super
yep.
middleweight. Oh yeah, yeah.
That, that was the guy that Caleb Plant beat.
Yeah,
Very hard fight for Caleb Plant.
yeah. I was trying to spar with. I wanted to spar with David Morrell, but it was always because he actually trains out here in Houston, but could never get any sparring with him. But
No,
I'm also now at the point too. I don't really need to spar. I don't really need to spar the I'm gonna say the top guys or whatever. Um, they all gonna be on my hit
the
list.
look that
Yeah,
you give them, you don't want to be able to like give them the heads up.
yeah, they all gonna be on my hit list eventually anyway. So I don't necessarily feel like I need to really work with some of those top scoring top guys.
So, talk to me. Are you a boxing fan as well? I mean, I know I spoke to you about some boxing fights in the past, uh, but do you enjoy watching boxing? And who do you like to like watch nowadays?
I do like watch. I never was a boxing fan, so I started boxing obviously. But like I said, boxing is 24/7 lifestyle. Like you have to now watch boxing. You'd be a fool if you just if you just box without actually studying it. And that's something that I was talking about when it goes to the IQ. We got to pick up on every little thing that you're doing. You're seeing people doing in there. And so to answer your question, yeah, I say Shakur is one of my top as active fighters. Shakur's one of my favorites right now. Um, Boots is one of my favorites. Bud's one of my favorites. Um,
And why you got all my favorites?
oh man, the great minds think alike, bro. They're favorites for a reason.
Yep.
But man, a lot of these guys are style, man, is so good, bro. Shakur really has his range down perfect, man. It blows my mind how like perfect his range control is.
People kind of misconstrue you. I also the instincts that boy has is completely different, and I think that's exactly what makes him a special
Mm,
generational fighter at this point in time.
that dude's different, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. And he's got the mentality, the mindset too. Um, but if I had to say off top of the head, those are some favorite fighters right now.
Mm.
I
So
would be excited to see the Boots Bud fight. I'm not gonna lie.
it's probably one of the more 50-50 fights if you really look at it, when it comes down to Bud, because it's like, what are your feelings on a Bud and Canelo fight, Like truly.
I'm not gonna lie. I would love that. And so it's funny, man. I had to eat my own words because before the Canelo Charlo fight, I definitely was saying I was like, man, Canelo seems like he's going downhill. He's getting older. Maybe he's losing the love for the sport. But not gonna lie, Canelo looked good in that fight against Charlo. But then again, I also will say Charlo didn't really show much resistance like that.
Yeah. So we don't know how good Canelo
So,
really
so then
was.
I was like, I don't even know. I don't know if that was a good performance by Canelo or Charlo just didn't really provide any resistance at all. It looked like he was just in there trying to survive. So hard to say, but I did before this fight think that Canelo was kind of going downhill. But I give Canelo his props though. Like he looked the most in shape he's ever looked. He looked
Ripped
the
up.
most in shape he ever looked. He was still throwing hard punches. Uh, he was still throwing extremely hard punches, and he didn't gas out. That was always the big fear with Canelo is that he gasses out. He didn't gas out either. And so I, but I still think Bud will win though.
You think
To
you think
answer your
Bud can
question,
handle that durability?
huh?
You think he could be more as durable as he needs to be to take a Canelo blow?
Man, it's crazy you say that, right? Because obviously Jamel gets a lot of Jamel's crutch was the fact, oh, I'm going up 2 weight classes or whatever, right? And you could see just the difference in strength in there, right? You know, um, but I will say, Bud is just strong as heck, bro. Ever since I seen this video, of Bud just in street clothes, walking to the gym, deadlifting like 415 easy, and how I seen him do his Spence, how strong he looked against Spence. It's tough to say if he'll still be that strong with Canelo, but I know Bud is strong, and I heard a lot of people talking about how strong he is. Um, but boxing skills are always gonna beat that. If Bud
Yep,
is if
prevail.
Bud is better than Canelo, then it doesn't matter.
Mm.
I just doesn't. But I think Bud's got the strength too to compensate in that area. Um, so I'm going to limb, and I do think Bud will win. To be honest.
Yeah, it's a, it's a fight that everybody wants to see as well. I talked to Sugar Shane Mosley. He said that would be an experiment fight for Bud
What do you mean
because
by that?
moving up that much weight is an experiment. It's an experiment to testament to how much you can do as an individual.
Hmm.
And when you're talking about Canelo is one of the harder punchers at 168 pounds. He's more acclimated into it. If you compare the careers, yeah, Canelo started at 15 at 140 pounds, but in the same time, how long has he been at 68? You're a testament to this. You've been from heavyweight. I'm sure you probably tested cruiserweight. Did you just skip cruiserweight or did you just go straight to light heavy?
No, when I went to the pros, it was at light heavy.
Light heavy. So you understand being in there with the top level guys at that certain weight class. Like you just said, you kept it real. I know what type of puncher I am. I
Mm.
know I'm getting these guys out because this is my job. I'm supposed to do that. But when it's time to go out with some of these elite guys, you're gonna want to say, "You just said to me, I'm gonna campaign that super middleweight." You don't really know where your power is gonna be at super middleweight. You probably really cracking. So there's an experiment to your testament of your body and what you can do at the top level. Canelo's been there and he has campaigned there for a while now. So, for Bud to just jump up, look at Jamel. If you just dissect him by himself, his footwork was a lot slower. He was more sluggish. He didn't put on the weight because he didn't have enough time. This
Right,
was
right,
this was an
right.
obvious. Anybody that bet against Jamel Charlo, if you bet on him, that was ridiculous. You're just betting with your heart. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to at least be in there. And I think for Crawford, I think he needs to campaign at 54. Let Jamel get the winner of Tim Zoo and my Brian Mendoza fight Jamel or the winner of that Kane at 54, do what exactly what Roy Jones said. Then move up another weight class and he's a great when it comes down to doing squats. Crawford's a very strong individual, like you said, but in the same time, it's just like you have to get your body acclimated to it because you're not going to be as sharp. Just because you spar at 170 pounds doesn't mean you're going to perform the way you want to perform. So it's very tricky. And that's why I like when I talk to Shane talking about how he believes that's an experiment fight. And that's very much true. Um, but nevertheless, right?
Well,
Um,
let me ask the question then of what you thought about then Mayweather. Then I'm using Mayweather as an example because Mayweather at the end of his career, he fought what he walked around at. I remember there's one fight where he weighed in. I forgot what the weight was, but day of the fight he weighed less. I was like, how does this dude lose weight? Day of the fight. So what
but
do you think
that's a
about
special.
then Mayweather?
No, and you're 100% right. Like, because this is the only reason why we talk about that fight is because of the skill level and IQ of Bud. That's the only reason why we talk about this fight. We can't just. Other than that, this is a fight that shouldn't happen. But considering that, like you said, Mayweather, when he went to 54, he had a different type of IQ. Also, in the same time, another favor that Mayweather had. Who did he fight at 54? He controlled his destiny. And this fight right here, Canelo's the A side. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like Crawford is really controlling his destiny. He's really reaching out for greatness. Do I believe that he has the skills to beat Canelo? Absolutely. Do I believe that he can hurt Canelo? No. You feel me?
No, that's definitely fair, and I don't see him hurting Canelo either. I don't see him hurting Canelo. I think sometimes too. What I also will say is Bud's performance against Spence. Um, that's what's really stuck in our mind, right? Because we never seen anybody do Spence like that, and
Yeah.
it always does beg the question. Like, man, was something really off with Spence that fight? Because Bud's never done anybody like that. Obviously, he's
Hmm.
dominated his fights, but to make it look that bad, you know. So I think we are stuck on his greatness, really based on that last fight. Last fight, you
Yeah.
know, only as good as your last fight. That's the only thing we can really judge it on was your last performance, right? And man, he just looks so strong, bro. But one thing I sometimes I don't like about fighters going up multiple weight classes like that is again it's all you always have that crutch. And I feel like that was with Jamil. Jamil was the same thing. You know, he went
Hey
up.
Darius, tap in and tap right out and tap right back in. You went blank.
Uh,
Sometimes when you get a phone call, it happens like that.
so like leave and come back.
Yeah, yeah. Make sure you guys smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Smash the like button. You know, just bringing you guys some hot content. Darius fought on the Golden Boy card with Zordo Ramirez and Joe Smith. So just getting you guys some of these updated interviews.
Like when Jamel went up to weight, like he already had the crutch, bro. Like you really how he even acted like he was really for a payday, for real, for real. You know, because he already had in mind. Well, if I lose, man, I already have my programmed excuse. I went up 2 weight classes. You know, so nobody's gonna really think of me in a certain way. I went, but you seen how he acted when he lost to Tony Harrison. Man, he was in there booing, crying. Like this one, he all smiles and stuff because he just got the biggest payday of his career. Like
Yeah.
sometimes, like I'm just not usually a fan of people going up multiple weight classes. When Mikey Garcia went up against Eros,
Errol.
there are these programmed excuses already quick, and people are saying, well, a lot of people beforehand were saying Mikey was going to beat him. Then when Spence beat him, oh well, Mikey went up 2 weight classes. I don't like those. I don't like those excuses. And Canelo shouldn't take the Bud fight honestly because it's already going to be there. Like it's a lose lose for him. He said it already himself, but it's a lose lose for him.
Hmm.
You know, even though Bud is a
Everybody want to see other fights. There's other fights on the table.
bro, so many. You know, everybody still wants to see the Benavidez fight. Everybody's been talking about. But there's a
Who do
lot
you
of
favor? Who do you favor in that fight? By the way.
actually. Damn, I feel like I'm really hating on Canelo. I feel like
It's cool though. It's cool. Shout out to the chat too.
yeah, I feel like any Canelo matchup we've talked about, I've always picked the opposite. But yeah,
Hmm.
I say Benavidez. I say Benavidez. I think a win.
Hey, you know,
And
you're
and
not the only one either.
and for obvious reasons, you know, Benavidez is a volume puncher. My big thing with these big mega fights, it just depends on how much the other person respects the other person. Like the problem with people when they fight Canelo is a lot of they respect his counter punching ability way too much. Where again, now they're hesitant. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about confidence, bro. Like when you respect somebody too much, you automatically put that person above you,
Hmm.
right? And now you hesitate. Now you're like, man, but if I was to throw this jab, he may counter it and throw this. Now you're hesitating, right? You're scared to do what you normally do. Um, you're freezing up. And Jamel looked like that when he fought him.
Yeah.
No. So, anyways, as long as Benavidez doesn't respect Canelo too much, which I don't think he would. I didn't think Jamel would, but he did.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's tough to really dissect. You know what I'm saying? Like we've seen guys that are that don't as punch as hard as Canelo, like Caleb Plant push Benavidez backwards. Certain times in the fight. And when we talk about guys that Canelo landed some big shots with Caleb, set them up, got him out of there. Benavidez was not being able to do that. I just think that styles make fights, so the triangle theory don't work in boxing, and
nah,
that's why, like, if we see that Jamel fights Crawford, yeah, Crawford has a great opportunity to get him out of there, and I probably would bet on that as well.
I
But
would.
yeah, but in the same time, it's like now people are gonna be like, "Wow, Crawford beat him, knocked him out. Canelo couldn't do that." Well, obviously Jamel's gonna fight this fight. He's gonna put it on the line, and he's not gonna try to, if he becomes a mean in the process, he'll do it. But I just feel like I would favor Crawford. Like I say, hey, he beats a top guy at 54. Hey, knock out Triple G at 160, then go out and fight Canelo. Now I'm thinking a little bit differently.
Yeah, yeah,
Now
yeah,
I'm thinking a little bit differently.
yeah.
But put your body through the process, though. Is my main concern is like go in and do the extra weightlifting that you need, to become more durable for these shots that are going to be coming at you. It's just important, man. And you got to be realistic with yourself. Do I think that Crawford can do it? I believe he has the work ethic to put his body through that. And if he does that, then I favor him. But let's be honest, Darius, right? To put that much weight, that much muscle mass the correct way, I need a year. I need a year.
Man, because you're right. Even putting on weight like that in a quick amount of time, you're gonna feel sluggish. You're not gonna feel like yourself. You never,
Mhm.
not even cutting weight. You're never gonna feel like yourself. You're gonna be depleted. You're gonna be a terrible version of yourself.
Exactly, a
You
terrible
gotta get
version of yourself.
used to punching with this weight on. Get used to moving with your feet with this weight on. Uh, yeah, it's a tricky thing though. But no, you're definitely right.
And then also, like what I Love Boxing said, Crawford's around 36, 37 years old now. You know what I'm saying? Do you want to put your body through that process to be able to fight a Canelo fight? I mean, I've heard stories about Bud needing to, take it levels of notches, away. You're still young. You're like what, 27?
Yeah,
Yeah. So you could put your body through this and not take it easy. But once you hit your mid 30s, bro, you're gonna see that certain training camps are gonna do something to you. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna have to, train smart versus let's just go hard. And Bud's at that point that he has to train smart.
or
Instead of doing 8 miles, he's dropping back, kicking back to 4, doing more stuff with the heavy bag. So that's just my opinion on it. And I just think that for boxing fans and stuff like that, it's great. It's a great topic to talk about because reaching for greatness is lit. But we just got to be honest now. For you, like what you think about Shakur Stevenson and versus like a Devin Haney or a Javante Davis.
not gonna lie. Again, told you could be biased because Shakur is my favorite, but Shakur, well, Shakur's my favorite for this reason. I don't really see him. I don't see him losing any of those guys, man. Be honest with you.
Mm.
I guess he's my favorite for that reason. I don't see him losing. I don't see him losing anybody at 35. I don't see him losing anybody at 40. Only time it would be if it was like somebody 47. But those two weight classes, don't see nobody beating them. Being honest.
Yeah, like uh, it's hard for me because first of all, I'm cool with Shakur. I talk to him, frequently, and then at the same time, I know how good he is too. But this is boxing, So the only concern that I got really is a Javante Davis fight at 135. I think that I feel like he outboxes Tank all over the place, but he just takes that one shot. And I hear great things about Shakur. I also hear some other things when it comes down to the gym. Some people want to know, hey, who is that guy? Oh, I ain't sparring him. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or I'll spar anybody. So I think that Shakur got the goods for sure. Um, and then another great fight, I think, also down the line, which is a guy that I believe that Shakur could also outbox for at 140 would be Teofimo Lopez. Um, he's just another great puncher as well. When you feel adversity into a fight, um, with greatness, I think that's when you really show how great you really are.
Yeah. It's always hard to say, like, and I always get your point. Like, that always is the fear, right? We can say that, but we can always say that about any fight, right?
Hmm.
I mean, there always is a possibility anybody can get knocked out,
Hmm.
But the thing is, you think about what is the probability of that happening, right? And probability, somebody like Shakur is low because he really doesn't get hit like that. He's got the, I, I don't know the statistics, but I would assume he got the best defense in box right now. He gets hit the least in all his fights.
I would have to agree. I would have to agree.
I don't know. That's not a quote because I don't know, but um, I'm almost sure that the best defense in box as far as how many times he gets hit around. The most I've ever seen him get hit was the Conseco fight. I don't know how to say Conseco.
Pacquiao,
Yeah, that was the
the Brazilian cat.
yeah, Brazilian guy. That was the most I've ever seen him get hit in a fight. But it was weird because that fight looked like he didn't really care. Like it looked like he
Yeah,
was trying to get out of there and was really pressing the action. He didn't really seem that defensively responsive as he normally would. But I would imagine if he's going in with a puncher that he would have a different different mindset in
yeah.
that.
And Nakathelia, that African dude that was a cop. If you really look at Shakur's face at the end of the fight, he was swollen all the way in the middle,
That was
and you can see the demeanor in certain fighters when it comes down to keeping it in the outside versus you, like, because this is a guy, right, that he got great inside game just as good as his outside game, right? But when you're dealing with some type of puncher that got the speed and pop, you're keeping it on the outside,
yeah.
and you're taking little moments to stay in the inside, to smudge punches, to take off shots. But when you see Shakur that is in his zone and is comfortable, that dude will stay in the inside and be mean.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I'm saying? So, I'm curious to see this fight coming up with him and Edwin De Los Santos, a great puncher. He can punch with both hands. I do believe Shakur will become victorious in the fight, but I like to see boxers, how they react when something that's huge puncher like Boots. I love to see a Boots and Terrence Crawford fight because Boots is throwing that same shit that Terrence is, and Terrence is throwing the same shit at him. We need to see that as fans.
mhm.
So I think that's a great fight. What do you think about Regis and Haney?
I honestly think Haney wins. I didn't think Regis, especially again, only could judge people off their last performances, right? And Regis' performance wasn't the best. I feel like he did really get exposed on the guy that he fought was like a last second opponent, but he was moving and Regis was struggling to cut off the ring really land any good shots. And I do feel like Devin is a really good boxer with a great jab. And so even following a similar formula like that, I think Devin can outbox him. Thing with Regis though, Regis got that pop too. I've heard from a lot of people. Regis can punch, and Regis fights are really entertaining when he has somebody in the ring that is going to bang with. And I don't see Devin doing it at all.
No.
I don't see Devin doing. I don't know why Devin would do that. Especially
Do you
when
think Loma kind of exposed Devin as far as what level he could be in the inside? I feel like Devin was very uncomfortable in the inside with Loma, and I feel like that could be a big problem if he went against the Shakur.
I feel like it's hard to say. I feel like it's hard to say that phrase that Loma exposed somebody. Loma's so talented,
Yeah, special fighter.
Loma's so talented. So to say like Loma exposed somebody is very hard to say because it's like, okay, who else is like Loma that would, who else is as talented as Loma that exposed Haney the same way, you know? So that's why I feel like it's very hard to make that statement. So I'm gonna say I wouldn't say that. Um, Because even that fight alone, like I I'm very big now on trying to get off the fence, right? I'm never trying to make any, oh, it's 50-50 or this and that. But realistically, I did actually score that fight a draw.
Me too.
I scored it a draw, and I feel like that's a cop out answer, right? But that's real. I really felt like it was a draw, like being
Or it
unbiased,
can go 7-5 either way.
and I was like, oof. And I remember when we were watching the fight, I was telling my friends, okay, look, no matter what the decision is, I said, no, we cannot call this fight a robbery unless it's some wide ass margins, right? As long
Hmm.
as it's close, I said we cannot call this a robbery. There's a lot of close rounds in this, and if as long as it's scored close either way, we can't be mad at it for real, because it was that close to me. Um, and then sure enough, they gave it to Haney. No, Loma got robbed. I said, man, I don't know what a robbery is. That was not a robbery. That was a good close fight. Can you say Loma won? Yeah, you could have said that. You could also said Haney won. Or you also could have said it was a draw. But my whole point in saying that is people gotta understand what a robbery is. That was not a robbery.
Right.
It was not a robbery, in my honest opinion. It could have went.
Yeah.
It could, but I feel like it was a draw.
Yeah. A lot of people, the majority of the boxing fans are a lot more casual fans, and people throw the word robbery out really quick. Erickson Lubin and Jesus Ramos. People will call that a robbery. I mean, what's your thoughts on that fight?
Okay, so I definitely didn't think Lubin won that fight for sure.
Hmm.
I would say that Ramos did let off the gas, which again, bruh, you should always know boxing to never do that. You know,
It seems like the championship rounds are probably more important than the actual whole fight.
right, right. Uh, wasn't a man. Yeah, Lubin to me that I did feel like that was a robbery. I ain't gonna lie. Like I thought Ramos won. When did Ramos really take off the gas?
I think he took it really like 7, to be
You think
honest.
it was 7?
Yeah, and I had Lubin winning the first round too.
Yeah. First round was close, but
I scored it a draw.
and
Um,
it always again makes it hard too because I guess even though Ramos took off the gas, like I just felt like Ramos was just a better fighter. Like I thought he really in that fight really proved it that he was just overall the better fighter. So I think there was a lot of bias in my opinion on my end. I was like, no, Ramos the better fighter. He give him the win. But no, I didn't, especially because one of the scorecards, one of them had what Lubin 117, 111 or something like that.
Oh, the
Yeah.
scorecards were bad though.
That's again what makes it bad, man. To me, was Roberts like when the scorecards are bad like that.
Messes it up.
Yeah, even I think the Haney Loma, I think there was one that was like 116, 112 or something. I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, like that. I mean, that's not necessarily too bad, but still, I'm like, nah. Yeah, 93 for Lubin is crazy.
It just seems like the fighters just didn't have a chance. When you hear those type of scorecards, you know what I'm saying?
It's urgent, bro. And obviously I haven't been through it my pro career, but in my amateur career, obviously,
It
it
happens, yeah.
happened a lot. I had a lot of bad experiences with it, and it had me feeling like, damn, bro, like, do they like what? I'm they kind of confused. Like, man, they got something against me. Like, what do they not like about me? I'm confused. Like, I definitely made this fight. Like, what happened? And but amateurs definitely, or even the pros, should always teach us to never. I never assume I'm winning a fight. I'd rather just not assume that.
There you go. There you go. What's more important for you as far as in boxing? The scoring of the points, or the ring generalship when it comes down to some of these close fights that are in the championship rounds?
Wait, say that one more time.
What do you feel like is more important to you as far as landing the clean, effective punches, or the volume and the ring generalship? Because volume and ring generalship kind of goes hand in hand at times.
Man, it's tough to say. Because I feel like I'm finna pick somewhere in the middle. Because the clean effective punching is important, but I,
Now, if you're
I
B side, Darius. Now, if you're in B side, how you feeling? How your coach feeling?
it's always tough, bro. Like, okay, so look, this is my honest answer too about this. Is what I kind of learned from the amateurs, right? Optics are everything. How everything appears is important rather than somebody just tip tap touching. You have to control the optics in the ring. Everything's kind of illusion, right? And so even simple stuff, even if you're on the ropes and you're catching punches, you may be catching every single punch. But it's like, bro, that's a bad look. That just looks bad, right? Even though you're catching, not getting hurt, looks terrible. But I've always learned about you got to control the narrative in the ring. There's a lot of expectations that are had before a fight happens. You think of any big mega fight, there's certain expectations that are had. There was one fight, the Canelo Triple G second fight. Was it the second fight? I want to say it was the second fight. Yeah, the second one. Canelo at this in this fight was walking Triple G back. All right, Triple G was kind of boxing, throwing his jab, but Triple G was on his back foot.
Different
Reason why
demeanor
that
than
was,
the first fight.
huh?
Completely different demeanor than the first fight for Triple G.
Completely different, right? And so what happens in people's mind is, say, man, what, Triple G going back? Oh, Canelo must be dominating the fight. Canelo must be winning. Triple G is going backwards. Triple G never goes backwards. In
Mm-hmm.
all his fights, he's been the one stalking people down.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's certain expectations that are had about certain fighters and how they fight, how they should fight. And if we as viewers or judges feel like this person is getting somebody off of their game, right? Well, I might go, oh, we're now kind of leaning towards that person. Or when a fight's happen, I guess what I'm trying to get at is my main thing is about when you talk about generalship is about dictating the fight. You're the one controlling the fight. You're the one that person is reacting off of you. It may not sound like a big thing, but when you watch it and you see it happen, it really tells the story of a fight, right? And so I always say I think that is the most important thing, where it looks like you're in control. You got two people dancing, but you could tell who's the one leading the dance, right? And that doesn't mean they have to be going forward the whole time to do that. Somebody can be moving around and outboxing somebody, and you could tell that person's leading. You tell that person's the one in control of everything that's going on in the ring. And I feel like that's the most important thing when they talk about who's winning a fight. Um, because the person doing that usually is the one landing cleaner shots. uh, but the one thing that also contradicts my statement is Canelo sometimes Canelo just looks like his punches are so devastating, you know? And so anytime Canelo's throwing, it's like, ooh, he kind of has that like effect about him, you know?
And it don't
I feel
help
like,
the crowd either, because
huh?
the crowd be rumbling every
They
time.
rumble too, man. So I feel like that really does help in his favor. So I feel like I just contradicted myself, man. I don't know. I don't know. I
Now
don't know.
a fight at 75 that everybody want to watch is Better Beef and
And
Bivol. What do you see in that?
Bavo, Bavo.
Easy.
Yeah, no, I would say definitely. I'm not gonna say easy.
Oof.
I'm definitely not gonna say easy. But no, I think Bavo wins. Ever since I watched the Bavo Zerto fight, because that one I seen in person, my first time watching Bavo in person, and I was so impressed with him. I knew he was good, but man, like he really impressed me as far as again his range control was perfect.
He was the bigger
And
man that fight too.
bro, how strong he was, man. Like he didn't back down an inch. He didn't back down an inch. And that's what really impressed me. I was like, dang, he's got good how he throws his punches awkward. Good straight shots.
Very
Good
good.
little back hooks, you
Yep.
know?
Pullback hook. Yep.
And so and what surprised again, going based off
He
last
don't even need
performances,
it. He don't even need an inside game with all that he
no,
has. He don't need an
no.
inside game.
And so I think that's the perfect style for a guy like Better Beef, right? And I will say Yard actually impressed me a Better Beef. I didn't think Yard was going to do that good against him.
Yeah, yeah. Better be look like a technician in that fight.
Yeah, that was an interesting fight though. But yeah, Bivol, I'm not a bed man, but I'm pretty sure Bivol.
Yeah,
I'm pretty confident. I think Bivol will win that fight for sure.
yeah, I agree, man. I definitely agree.
And Benavidez old too, man. I don't know how
Yeah,
old he is now, but I think he's that.
he's
He,
he's I think he's 40.
yeah, he's closing in on 40, maybe 39,
Yeah,
which
father
is
time is real.
yeah. But he's got another fight now with Caleb Smith.
Callum Smith. Yeah,
Is that in January? I remember it got moved back.
yeah, got moved
Yeah,
back. Yeah, I think it's in January. I talked to Buddy, his coach,
yeah.
Callum coach.
That's still gonna be a good fight, man. You think of just the hard part is keeping somebody like Better Be off of you. You know, Caleb Smith is like I don't know, it's like 6'3", 6'4", so a very tall guy.
Big right hand.
Um, and
I just
so
I just hear stories about Better Beef that nobody stays in camp too long as far as for sparring partners are
oh
concerned.
really?
Yeah,
Better
he
Be with somebody I wanted to try to get in camp with. Originally, before I was sure about fighting, I was trying to reach out to see about getting out there in camp with him.
yeah 100%. Well, my
And
last one.
it's guys like that, man. This is my problem. I'm too curious, bro. It's like guys, especially big punchers. Like I need to know.
You need to know
I need to know. Can you really crack like that? I really want to be in with the biggest
biggest
punchers,
punch.
the scariest guys, and I need to know. Like I'm too curious. I gotta
Put
know.
me in there with Wilder. I just gotta know.
Wilder's a good example. I want to know. Like, can he really punch like that for real, for real? And if I know, it's like, oh, this is the extent of this is the hardest it can get. Okay, all right, I'm cool with that.
No fear
I know it's
factor.
not gonna be harder than this.
Yep, exactly.
I know everybody punching harder than this.
Um, for my last one that I wanted to talk to you about was Demetrius Boo Boo Andres versus David Benavidez. It's a fight that a lot of people don't even understand. Um, when I used to fight in the Golden Gloves, I was in the same tournament as Boo Boo. I understand the type of guy he is. Very awkward, tall. I mean, shit. He was already that age at that height, and he was campaigning at 52. Um, but then you got the Mexican monster in the same time. That brings a lot of attributes to things that you really can't, as a viewer from the outside, you can't see how good, you know, to me, David Benavidez is until you're really in there with him. You know what I'm saying? He does a lot of old school things that, I was talking to Shane Mosley about as far as punching off the clinch. He doesn't pull back anything to throw big shots. Everything is right here, like Winky right. What do you see in that fight? Obviously, Demetrius Andres. Neither fighter has seen the caliber of fighter. Maybe people kind of say, hey, uh, you know, Caleb Plant might be a better boxer. Maybe he just looks cleaner while he does it. Maybe he's not better. But in the same time, Boo Boo has these amateur accolades as being an Olympian. What do you think about that matchup? You're in yourself. Obviously, Boo Boo only has one fight at 68 with Demar Nicholson. Didn't look too great either.
Yeah, the Booba's one of those guys too where I haven't really seen him with like that top upper echelon competition yet, right? So it's always still like, man, how good is this guy really? And I've heard a lot of other people that have worked with him, spar with him, talk about, man, Boo Boo is that guy for real. Like, and you could see him like the hardest people to fight are the people that are awkward like that.
Hmm.
Awkward and he's got experience. It's not like he's just awkward, doesn't know what he's doing. He's awkward and he's got experience.
And he's athletic.
Yeah, very
Top
very
it off.
tricky. The issue with the
And
Ben-
he's southpaw to top it
yeah,
off.
the issue with the Benavidez plant. Okay, so I really feel like 'cause I was there at that fight. I watched it, and I really did not say Plant exposed Benavidez, right? But how Plant was fighting was really good against Benavidez. He won a lot of rounds, but the issue then with Plant was that Plant's inside game and his strength wasn't strong enough, bro. Like when it came down to the clinches, just like you said, what Shane Mosley said, that was his biggest problem. When it got to the clinches, Benavidez was roughing him up, boom, boom, landing big shots, getting him off balance, and was kind of destroying him inside. Then Plant started gassing out, right? But as far as how he was boxing up until that point, he was boxing really great. I say to say because I don't Plant and Boo Boo don't fight the same though.
Nope.
Yeah, definitely don't fight anywhere remotely close to the same. Boo Boo has this weird kind of style with his range. So
Over the top weird
yeah,
and shit.
if he kind of keep that range, Boo Boo will do fine. But uh, kind of sold him, kind of sold on Benavidez still though, man. I just because I haven't seen Boo Boo with the upper echelon type of guys, it's hard for me to give him the nod, you know, until I really see him with some elite people, you know. But yeah, I'm going Benavidez for this one.
Do you also believe that when it comes to Boo Boo, and the transitioning from the pros to the amateurs, um, and becoming, sometimes people are just great gym fighters, bro, and they just when it comes, they're not him the way they say it is. You think that's a factor as far as when it comes down to Boo Boo style?
So to reiterate your question, you're saying about how great he was in amateurs that he maybe just be a good gym fighter, but not necessarily in the pros. Is that what you're saying?
Right, right.
Hard for me to say because
He stepped up with Demar Nicholson, didn't look good in that fight. And that was a big stage. A lot of people don't understand. That was a Gervonta Davis, Hector Garcia stage.
mhm.
It'll do something to you. Even in that same card, even Boots. Boots didn't look good against a guy that like Karen. Everybody wants to say, "Oh, he just survived. He just survived." Karen was doing some boxing stuff in there to keep himself to survive. It wasn't just running.
Man, well that's why. Okay, so then that's what I definitely will say about the. I think we disagree on because a lot of people were saying the same thing that Karen exposed Boots, and I was like, how?
I
Because
don't think he
Boots.
exposed him,
Oh yeah, I would say Boots
but the
still won.
kid didn't have
He,
no punch to keep him honest.
yeah, I would say Boots still won every second of that fight. He didn't lose a second of that fight. Obviously he didn't look his best. But that's why I would say expectations are important. Like there's expectations to be had about every fight that you go into watch, and you already have pre-programmed in your mind how a fight's gonna go. The reason why the Bud fight was so great and why Bud's his skill magnified was because people had expectation that was a 50-50 fight. And then when he blew him out the water, it was like, oh my God, like we didn't went far surpassed everybody's expectations. Same thing with the Inoue Fulton fight. Inoue looked so damn dominant and so damn good, far exceeded everybody's expectation how that fight was gonna go.
Hmm.
And so now when it comes to a fight like this, you talking about Boots and Karen. Boots, you're supposed to knock this dude out. That's what we expect of you. You've been knocking everybody out. This guy, I think he didn't take the fight. Maybe it was like a last second, not last second, but I think it's like a replacement opponent. And Boots, you're supposed to knock this guy out. And when he didn't do it, it's like that was a terrible performance, right? But it's like yeah, the guy that was in there really just surviving though. Honestly, like he was really just moving around. And those guys are hard to knock out. Same thing I say about the Canelo Charlo. People say, "Oh, Canelo, like man, but you didn't knock Charlo out though. Charlo looked terrible. But you can't punch because you were laying a lot of shots. And you didn't knock him out. Yes, Jamel looked like he was in there to survive. Those guys are hard to knock out because they're really just being defensive minded, not taking no risk. Right? You're not catching them in between shots. They're really just now just watching everything you do, trying to defend it. Guys are very hard to get out of there that fight like that.
Yeah,
And
it's
so,
easier to fight like that than to actually win.
yeah, that's what I say is well my opinion on the Boots. Not gonna lie to you, I came in on late and I think I was doing something that day, so I actually did not watch the Boo Boo and Demond fight. So I don't really know how that one really looked. But now that you're saying it, I'm gonna look on YouTube later see if they got it on YouTube.
He got knocked down by the jab. They didn't count it though.
Boo Boo got knocked down with a jab. That's crazy, man. Because I don't think Demon's that
Demont,
good.
you remember Demont was all over the floor when he fought Belanga. I think he
Yeah,
got dropped like 3 or 4 times.
yeah. I don't think Demon is that good to be. What you call it? That fight with the distance, the Boo Boo and Demon.
Absolutely.
So you think Boo Boo's not good on the big stage,
Um,
or you think he'd be a little questionable?
it's questionable, but I also think that his power is not gonna be a factor at 68 either.
I
You
don't
know,
think it's probably,
he
especially
was
with Benavidez.
loading up. He was loading up like crazy at 60.
Yeah, I don't think even with Benavidez either. And I say that because one thing about Benavidez that makes him so talented, bro, is his arms. What I mean by that is when he's in his guard like this, his whole body is covered. He's got these long forearms.
Oh, he just
Like,
doesn't shoot it out. Boom.
bro, it covers his whole body. Like he doesn't really have that many openings like that. Like you really got to create some openings on him. That's
Yes.
the one thing I always will say is good about Benavidez. And then besides his ability to throw combinations like that has always been impressive.
And he's an underrated body puncher as well.
Yeah.
Great
You think
fight.
you think you think his body punch is underrated?
Yeah. I don't think people give him the credit that he deserves when it comes to body punching.
Mm,
I think people just look at him as like a, a super middleweight Pacquiao type deal, and that's all he is, and he's coming forward with it.
mm.
I think that he throws a lot of great body shots. Doesn't put a lot. He don't really put a lot of people down with them. But like you said, you're a guy that breaks people down, and that will do something
He,
to you in the late rounds.
he's the same way. I feel like a lot of people said that Benavidez is a power puncher though, but from stuff that I've heard that
Volume puncher.
yeah he's a big volume puncher.
Yeah.
Not much of a he. I think they say he understands that he's not a big puncher,
Yep.
and so that's why he works on his volume.
Yeah. And
Benavidez has been
arms travel.
impressive, but this would be a big testament to him though, because I do think Boo Boo is awkward. I'm actually really excited to see it.
I am too. You know what I'm saying? Like he's from my area, and in the same time, it's just like this is the fight for people to see. You know, his only marquee fight. If you really look at it, this is his only marquee fight,
Mm.
and it sucks that it has to be the Mexican monster
Right, right, right.
versus somebody at 160 like a Jamal Charlo or something. But I won't. I'll tell you one thing: if he does get beat down by Boo Boo, I mean by David, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna still give him the benefit of the doubt that he fought one of the best 168 pounders, and I won't throw him out of the equation as far as uh,
Other,
at being a great fighter. Yeah, because I think it's not fair. I think he's also trying to achieve greatness, moving up that weight class as well. But nevertheless, we will see. But I'll tell you one thing, man. This was a great segment, Darius. Can't wait to do another one with you. Good luck on your next fight. Do you know anything about your next fight? Any time zone?
yeah, I kind of got an idea, but I'm gonna still wait to talk about whenever things get finalized and stuff. So um, I am looking forward to that. I think it's gonna be huge,
Yeah, huge. That sounds interesting.
huge,
That's
huge for me. I don't know what opposition look like, but opportunity to be huge. I'll just say that.
as far as the stage. Well, that's great. That's great news. That's great news.
Yeah,
I feel like Oscar got some things under his sleeve. I'm not gonna lie. The way he's talking about great fights. I know he got Ryan Garcia stepping in with Oscar Dirkrish or something like that.
Duarte.
Duarte, and then he's talking about possibly a Teofimo Lopez fight after that for Ryan. So to be under a card like that would be amazing. Uh,
Well,
but can't wait to see what's next.
thanks,
And
bro.
continue doing what you're doing, man. And we'll be here keeping an eye on you.
Thanks, bro. Look, I appreciate you. Put me on a platform and give me your time, bro. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, my brother. God
All right,
bless. On to the
all right.
next.
Likewise. I'll be.
Make sure you guys smash the like button. Smash the like button. That's the homie Darius um, Fulghum. Darius Fulghum. 8-0 prospect from Golden Boy. Uh, you know, Oscar De La Hoya got some guys there. He got some guys there. He's campaigning at light heavyweight, but he did say he's gonna make his way down to super middleweight, which is great. I think he's 6'2". I got his box check right here. Uh, where he's at? Where he's at? No, he's 6'1", out of Houston. Uh, you know, ranked at 73 in the world. Not too bad. Uh, Light heavyweights when it comes to rankings, they're kind of all over the place. But in the same time, he got 100% KO ratio. Uh, something good down the line for Darius. I feel like he's very knowledgeable outside the ring, and that could be a great thing inside the ring as far as he's a guy that works hard as well. He's working with the Zordo Ramirez team. They got a good little team over there, Brick House. So make sure you stay tuned for that. So much other things going on in boxing. Finally, Bomac is back. You know what I'm saying? Can't wait to get. I just hit him up in the DMs, and we definitely gonna line something up real soon. Um, you know, he's finally free. But nevertheless, we have so many other things in boxing to talk about. Um, the big fights that are going to be coming up. I think that when it comes down to this Bubu Andres and Demetrius Andres and David Benavidez, I think that's a good fight. I think it's a underrated fight. I think people definitely need to tune in for that one. Larry Liston, Yo Mills, what you think of Malik Scott corner advice for Zordo in the fight? Thought it was A plus. Honestly, I'm glad that you said that, Larry Liston, because I thought it was great. Honestly, I don't know if Julian, and I love Julian Chow. Um, I don't know if he would have been able to give that type of instructions to Zordo. Zordo fought an amazing fight. I mean, Joe Smith Jr., man, I'll tell you one thing. Huge puncher. His footwork is all over the place. His jab, he wasn't stepping in with his jab. He was doing a lot of things. I think the layoff really did a lot to him. Um, he did hurt Zerto probably around 3 times in the fight. But I think also in that fight, Zerto showed that he has a lot of boxing ability. It has a lot to give to the cruiserweight division. Um, if you look at his Instagram, he has 1 million followers. I think he's going to bring a lot of light to the cruiserweight division. Um, and his footwork looked phenomenal. His defense looked great. Obviously, with a guy that you know punches, that boxes the way Joe Smith is. It's kind of easy to outbox somebody like that, but in the same time, just to be aware for that was just an excellent win for Zordo, and great, great, great instructions for Malik Scott. I hope they continue working together. Honestly, I think Malik, when it comes down to the heavier weight divisions, gives a lot of great. He could bring a lot to boxing. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, like to see him and Deontay Wilder, bring something new to the table. I think Deontay Wilder is a special talent. I think he's probably one of those guys also that is hard to, and this would be a big testament. I'm glad that you mentioned that, Larry, because this is going to be a big testament to see if Deontay Wilder is really coachable or not. You know what I'm saying? Because he does have, Malik has not, he's been a great heavyweight fighter, a champion, but has not got the notoriety of being a coach. So hopefully he does get that. And if Deontay Wilder can just open his mind and feel free to trust in him, they could do great things in the heavyweight division. And who knows, Deontay Wilder might be back. You know what I'm saying? I do think that Deontay Wilder needs to be able to go back into the Olympics like I used to and use that jab. And he'll land that right hand so many different ways. He has great timing and great distance, and great athletic ability. The only thing about with Deontay Wilder that I am, worried about is that, when it comes down to getting older and your athletic ability starts slowing down, um, he's only he in reality he's a tall heavyweight, but he's a small heavyweight if you really think about it. So being durable at that, weight division, the type of weight that he's at. I don't know, what is he, like 220, 230? So that could be scary for Deontay Wilder, but he's definitely a guy. Him and Malik can do some special things in there. I can't wait when it comes down to this fight with Fury and Usyk. I just think that I think that people are not really looking at Usyk as so much of a threat. Yeah, he's kind of weak to the body, but I don't really think that Fury's a big puncher like that, to be honest with you. But he's so accurate. His punch accuracy is elite. I think that Fury's definitely, if not the best heavyweight, he is one of the best heavyweights. And I think he is probably the best heavyweight. But I think that Usyk does have what it takes to take away from Fury's boxing ability. Those angles are nothing like no other, and for a big guy to move like that, I mean, some people don't understand when it comes to defense. Your first line of defense is your feet, and that's what Usyk does have over Fury. Fury has the size and the punch accuracy, but does he have the speed um, over Usyk? That's something that we would have to see when they meet together. And if he does have the speed, then speed, footwork, angles can give Fury a lot of problems. So. I love to see it. I love to see it. Usyk is done. He can't stand them egg weights. Oh shit, that's funny. I love boxing. Yeah. So I like the matchup. I hate this Ngannou fight, but hey, it is what it is. Let these guys make their money, and so be it. Um, other fights you guys want to talk about? Other fights we haven't really chopped up. Um, we got this fight coming up with um my man Tim Zoo this week with Brian Mendoza. Um, Let me tell you about this fight. Fury has the political advantage, bro. It's Tom Brady of the division. Let me tell you something. Yeah, especially if it's going to be top rank for sure. Um, Now, Brian Mendoza versus Tim Zoo. This fight. Oh yeah, and then we got Keyshawn and Wu. You know, you seen me on the comments with Greg yesterday, and I think Keyshawn is just way better. Wu did a great performance. He actually he was the underdog in the last fight. He fought a top ranked fighter that was undefeated, and the thing about that fight is Wu he outboxed him with just the jab alone, and didn't take any other chances as far as throwing combinations that can really woo the judges. Get it, woo. But now the thing is that Albright is he going to show the Philly grit that he brings to the table when it comes to Keyshawn. When it comes to Keyshawn in this fight, yeah, I do think that this is the best boxer that he has been and faced. But also, I think that after 3 rounds, I think Keyshawn figures him out and then starts breaking him down. I don't know if Wu he was on his super back foot. I don't think that I think this fight possibly will go the distance, honestly. But I do think that Keyshawn picks him apart dramatically towards the end. And yeah, that's just how I look at it. I think that for 3 rounds, gonna be interesting. But once Keyshawn makes his adjustments, I think that Wu's just going to be levels behind him. And he's going to realize just throwing the jab is not enough, to beat Keyshawn. That's just my opinion. I think he breaks him down. But I think it goes the distance. I would go Keyshawn the distance on this fight if you're betting. Um, Odds obviously are going to be on Keyshawn. But yeah, honestly, Wu really don't, Wu don't got a chance. I see. I don't need to be biased upon this. I just got to keep it funky. And you know, do I think that it's going to be a good fight? Yeah, it'll be a good fight if you like stylistic chess matches and stuff like that. But It's gonna be a guy that, it's like once you take your queen, it's like Wu's playing chess with Keyshawn, but he got no queen. He got no queen, and he got no bishops. That's what this fight is. He got no queen, and he don't got no bishops. So he's limited. You know what I'm saying? He just hasn't been around guys like Keyshawn. You know what I'm saying? Keyshawn, what I do see with Keyshawn in this fight is I see Keyshawn doing some nice body work in the fight, and I feel like that's going to separate him against Keyshawn and Wu is the body punching. I think that's what's going to be. But now I think he's going to get stopped if he catches his rhythm. It's levels to boxing. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. If he catches his rhythm, which I think he will catch his rhythm, but then now we're at the point of Wu being defensively sound and being does he have enough to survive? I seen in the last fight with Wu, he didn't take a lot of chances. So I believe that's what's going to happen in this fight. He's not going to take a lot of chances. He's just going to keep it on the outside and not take so many chances and just make sure. What they're going 8? Are they going 8 or is this the first 10 rounder? Like is this a step up for 10 rounds? Uh, yeah, I think that matters too. I mean, let's look at it. Let's look at how many rounds they're doing because I think that means a lot to be honest too. Because if it's ten rounds, I say Keyshawn gets him out of there because now he got more time. Seems like Boo's getting some good sparring up in the Bozy gym as well to get ready for this fight. So Wu definitely upsetted that top ranked prospect. Um, so oof, they going 10. They going 10. Yeah. Keyshawn's last 2 fights were 10 rounders. Yo, I guess this is gonna be the fight that we get to see Keyshawn fight another boxer. Not sure. I know Keyshawn said he don't want no more 8. No, yeah. So his last 2 is 10. So yeah. Um, Keyshawn got to really show how great he is. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like he had a great training camp. Now, obviously, he didn't have Bomac, but now he's gonna have Bomac. Bomac and him probably just got together. I seen in an interview that Bomac went straight to Texas. He didn't go home, so that's gonna be a good. But let's see what they have worked on with. When it comes down to this fight, I like Keyshawn Davis a lot. I think he has a lot of growing to do too. I see a lot of my thing with Keyshawn that I don't like about Keyshawn at this moment in time that I believe that he should work on is being a little bit more patient. Now that he's at 10 rounds, be a little bit more patient um, and don't play with your food at the end of the day. But Keyshawn wins by KO, and that's just it. Wu don't got a chance. Let's be honest. That's crazy. Bomac ain't go home. Now he didn't go home. He just went straight to training. He couldn't wait to get back into it, which is a great sign. You know what I'm saying? Just a great sign. Uh, going straight to camp. That's where he believes. I think him and Core gonna be better at 47. Yeah, I think I think Core gonna be uh, one of the best 140 pounders ever. That's how I believe. I believe that he can be one of the best 140 pounds ever, and I think he can take certain fights at 147. Um, they're punching big at that. We got to wait for Core to become a man because remember, guys that are campaigning at 147 pounds, they're coming down from like 170, 175. Even, look at Errol Spence, he coming down from like 185. But that's a weight bully. I'm talking about, guys that 170, 175 is where people normally go and campaign at 147 pounds. Core and Keyshawn both still fight like amateurs. Uh, Honestly, I think that they got more of a pro style. I do see what you mean as far as the way they throw their hooks, as far as slapping sometimes. Um, but I think that uh, they have a lot of um, variables that are more pro than amateur. I think when they go in there with some big, big, big punches, I think that that's where they become kind of more amateurish. Any news on Tank's next opponent? Yes, man. I mean,